Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel, TommyT2009. Now this video may be a video you've been waiting for a long time. I know I have, because I started collecting these last year. But this is Take Along Thomas and Friends. Now before I talk about these guys, let me explain what these are. So Take Along Thomas was one of my childhood toys. Like when I was very young, I do remember having Take Along Thomas and Friends. I remember the advertisement that came out in 2002, and I actually had a few of these myself. Like, these were like the replacement for Ertl, which was kind of sad because Ertl got discontinued in 2004 when they made Jock. But I do quite like these, and there's a good reason. The faces are very accurate. I don't know how good the proportions are, but we'll see how good these are. Because Train Boy 17 actually does have these as well. And a few other YouTubers, right? Now, this isn't all the trains I have. I've actually got a bunch more. Like Percy, Henry, who I haven't finished yet. And there are a few other customs I made, like Timothy and Scruffy. And you'll see those next time, but I thought I'd show you these guys since these are some of my favorite trains I've ever made. Without further ado, let's start. So first we have Thomas the Tank Engine. Now, this was actually the second Thomas I got. This was the first Thomas that I had, but I'll explain more about that later. So, this is kind of interesting. This brings back so many memories. I quite enjoyed these as a kid. The face is pretty interesting. It almost looks like Thomas. And what I like the most about this Thomas is that he's in very mint condition. On eBay, these can be quite hard to find if they're in mint condition. Because a lot of the time I see these on eBay as they suffer from paint loss. One thing that I didn't understand is why these chip a lot. Because these were for like younger kids. And usually when small children play with this, they have a habit to play with them too roughly. And sometimes the paint wears off. That's something I didn't understand. But I do like Thomas. Like, he's very interesting. He does have the back lining from Season 1. Later on, Thomas didn't have this back lining. But it's cool that Take Along gave it to him. And they actually molded the whistles on. The Ertl Thomas actually had stickers of the whistles which would peel off easily. So that's kind of interesting. They don't have side rods actually. But they do have these little magnets. And they're kind of like the wooden railway, except they've actually got magnets where you can actually hook engines to the front and like in between. Which was something that Thomas Wooden Railway couldn't do. Because if you have a front magnet next to a front magnet, they would like repel and against each other. So I think Thomas is interesting. He's my most favorite character out of all of them. And I'll explain more whenever I make a video called Why I Hate the CGI Series, because I haven't done that yet. I will do it soon. Although before I talk about the CGI series in that video, I might just talk about the model series and the Sheridan Miller era and the history behind Thomas. But you guys will still hear why I don't like the CGI series and what I like about the model series. But the CGI series will come after the model series in the Sheridan Miller era. But what do you guys think of this Thomas? I think Thomas is very interesting. And moving right along, let's talk about Edward. So Edward is the number 2 engine, and Edward is actually one of my favorite characters. Like, I really like Edward, although in the CGI series, Edward, it was very sad for Edward, because in Big World Big Adventures, when that came out, I don't know why they would ever do that, but Mattel actually removed Edward from the main cast, like the main 8 characters. They didn't get rid of Edward, thank God they didn't. But Edward has been pushed to the side as a supporting character. Kind of like Duck, Donald, Douglas, Daisy, Oliver, Mavis, Bill, Ben. Like, they just kicked him out of the main cast, but he's still on the show. But they replaced Edward with a new engine that's a female named Mia. Same goes for Henry. They replaced him with a female named Rebecca. Now, I don't understand what Mattel did. Like, that's something that I hate most about the CGI series is Big World, Big Adventures because of aspects like that. Like, I don't know why Mattel would even think of replacing Edward and Henry with female characters. Like, Thomas the Tank Engine had, like, a bunch of boy characters, but they slowly started to add girl characters, which, that's pretty interesting. I don't have a problem with them making female characters, especially characters like Emily and Mavis.
Old ones away.
But I don't know who was complaining about the lack of female characters. Like, if you wanted to bring back female characters, you could have at least brought back Molly, Lady, Elizabeth, Caroline, Isabella. Like, those characters would have had so much potential in the CGI series, but Andrew Brenner just never had the perfect opportunity to. I mean, there weren't enough characters for Andrew Brenner to actually make the CGI series good, but I still like Andrew Brenner. He's an excellent writer, because he actually made this series feel like the classic series, just CGI. But anyways, Edward is pretty interesting. Like, he's a very old engine. And this Edward has actually seen better days. I had to repaint him because he had so many chips. Like, you see that his blue wheels here are sun-faded. And actually, I bought Edward and the Tender separately. But I'm very happy to have Edward. He's very cool. It really sucks that Mattel would replace Edward and Henry with female characters. Like, I don't get that. I hate that. Like, that's one of the worst things that Mattel could ever do. Not just that, but they made some very bad episodes and movies.
7.
Alright. Moving right along. Let's talk about this engine. So this is Lady, and we all know that she's from Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Now, sadly, that movie got so many negative reviews. Like, there was like 21% of Rotten Tomatoes. But the reason why this movie got so many negative reviews is because of the test audience. Like, originally, Michael Angelis was supposed to be the voice of James and Percy, but they replaced him with some women, which is kind of weird. But I still like the character Lady. And what I like most about Lady is that she's in mint condition. Like, this previous owner taken excellent good care of Lady and didn't play with her too roughly. Although, one thing is that she has this lightish purplish red, but there's purple, like dark purple on the cylinders and the buffer beam and the running board here. And that's the same color as the wheels. Now, I honestly think that these wheels would have been better if they were the same as Lady's paint job right here. But I still like how Lady came out. I still do like the Ertl Lady because it's more accurate, but one weird thing that Ertl does is the proportions. Like, in the Magic Railroad, Lady is actually a little smaller than Thomas, but when Ertl made Thomas and Lady, they actually made Lady bigger than Thomas. And one iconic thing that people do to Ertl Lady is modify her to HO scale, which I find very interesting. Like, that's kind of cool. But I used to have Lady when I was little, but sadly I lost her, which is very upsetting. But I am happy that I have Lady, and I haven't lost her yet. She's still here, all fine and whatnot. Alright, now let's move on to one of the customs here. So this is Eagle, the red engine. He was made from James. I do actually have another James, but it's my permanent James. And I actually brought another James to make Alfred, suggested by Isaiah Rodriguez. So thank you for that. Anyways, let's talk about Eagle. So he was a character who appeared in the Railway series. And he was one of the red engines. Although Eagle is not actually his name. But this guy did appear in the Railway series, but his name wasn't actually Eagle. Someone just thought of the name Eagle. I don't know who exactly came up with Eagle, but I do like the name. And I do wish that in the Railway series, the Reverend W.R.G. could have actually named this guy Eagle.
Instead of James?
because they actually do already have James. Like, Eagle is just sort of similar to James, except he has no number and he has red wheels. So it was the E2 family who suggested Eagle. So E2 family, if you're watching this, thank you so much for suggesting Eagle. I love the way he came out. And I do look forward to hearing more suggestions from you. Like, the E2 family also suggested that I do Regabee, who was another red engine in the Railway series. Which I do quite like that idea so much. So I will do Regabee soon. I don't know how many minutes are we but
10.5.
Alright, we have time for one more. We'll do these guys soon, don't worry.
Part 2.
Alright, so this is Sonic the Steam Engine.
Oh.
And as some of you may not know, I'm a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, he's another one of my favorite. He's actually my favorite video game character, but he does have a few shows, like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I haven't watched Sonic X. I've never seen Sonic Underground. And I haven't watched the movie yet. I do have it on DVD, but I just never actually had the opportunity to watch it. But I'll do it soon. So, this was created by Ben 11 GWR. And the E2 family does have plans to make a wooden railway Sonic, but not this type.
What's the number mean?
There was actually a the picture he used for Sonic was a E2 that had a Gordon face and red wheels. Although I do wish that E2 family would have made Ben 11 GWR's design, because I think this actually fits more with Sonic. At least Ben 11 GWR thinks so. I do like this design, and it would be interesting if Mega Hedgehog X could make Tails and Knuckles to go with Sonic. I don't know if he will or not. But overall, I do like how Sonic turned out here. He was made from Percy, but this is one of my old Percys. I do actually have a permanent Percy, which you'll see soon. So what do you think of Sonic here? I thought he was an amazing custom. No one suggested Sonic, I just like the character. And that's all the time we have for today. And if you'd like to, suggest a custom, an engine from the Railway series like an OC, and even a character from the Classic series. I do have plans to get the other engines from the Classic series, but if you suggest someone from the Sharon Miller and the CGI era, those won't count, because I'm not a huge fan. I mean, Sharon Miller wasn't too bad. They had some interesting characters like Molly, and I felt kind of bad for her that she wasn't very special in the episode Molly Special, but Thomas actually helped her, which was kind of cool. But suggest a character from seasons 1 to 7. I actually sorry for the random jump cuts. Some people are trying to disturb me. But anyways, I almost got confused with Michael Angelis and Michael Brandon. Even right now I'm getting tongue twisted because they both have the same names, just their last names are different. However, I do prefer the US dub more because George Carlin, Alec Baldwin, and Michael Brandon are my 3 favorite narrators because they were like top notch. I did, however, have some videotapes with Ringo Starr, and for some weird reason in New Friends for Thomas, they actually made Michael Angelis the narrator. I wish they could have used Michael Brandon, but they just chose Michael Angelis for some reason. Maybe you guys can tell me the reason why they chose Michael Angelis. However, as years went by, George Carlin and Michael Angelis died. Now, I feel kind of sad for George Carlin, and if Alec Baldwin and Michael Brandon die, I would be very devastated. But anyways, we'll do these guys soon. So suggest a character from the Classic series, seasons 1 to 7, an OC, and even a character from the Railway series. That's all the time I have for today. Stay tuned for more take-along videos on Timmy 2009.